On the LA Food Podcast, why are Angelinos moving to boycott Enrique Olvera's downtown restaurant Damian? Are they justified in doing so, or did the whistleblowing media outlet in question sound the alarm with a little too much enthusiasm? Father Saul is with us to discuss all of these meaty topics, plus the two LA restaurants that made Bon Appétit's annual list of best new restaurants in America, four seemingly dead-in-the-water LA restaurants that have been handed lifelines by rousing community support, and a middling New York Times review of one of America's most famous restaurants. All of that plus a recap of recent eats at Firstborn in Chinatown, Safi's in East Hollywood, and Father Saul's virgin voyage to the Mordor of the Celiac, Courage Bagels. A reminder that the LA Food Podcast is brought to you by the Acquired Taste Media Network. Be sure to listen to our sister podcast, Taqueando with Bill Esparza. This week, Bill dropped an all-timer, the ultimate guide to LA taco crawls. That's right, crawls plural, dear listener. You're not going to want to miss it. If you'd be so kind to leave us a review or rating wherever you listen to podcasts, we'd be eternally grateful. I'm your host, Lucas Servodio, and without further ado, it's time to chow down. The LA Food Podcast is presented by The Lonely Oyster. Unwind at The Lonely Oyster's Echo Park Night Watch. Did you know that every night is industry night at The Lonely Oyster, dear listener? Stroll in after 10 p.m. nightly for a one-of-a-kind experience designed for the night owls and hospitality pros. Indulge in $12 handshake cocktails, expertly crafted liquid chef concoctions, delicious late-night hot bites, and chef's choice dozen oysters. More than just a place to unwind, The Lonely Oyster warmly welcomes industry professionals, providing a space where like-minded individuals can connect, relax, and enjoy the camaraderie that comes with the late-night scene. Whether you're looking to kick back after a long shift or simply enjoy the vibrant atmosphere, late night at The Lonely Oyster is the perfect rendezvous for those who appreciate good company and great food and drinks. Don't miss this nightly affair and let the good times roll at The Lonely Oyster. Welcoming back to the LA Food Podcast, a man who I assume is pretty nervous today because the Champions League is back, dear listener. And as we know, this is betting season on the LA Food Pod. And if history steers us the right way, this might be my year. Father Saul, how nervous are you?
I'm not very nervous. I don't think history does steer you in the right direction. I generally beat you at bets. There was that one insane year of losing. We all remember the year of loss. Was it 2024 or 23?
It was 2023, but that's why I'm saying history might be on my side because it's like we alternate, right? Like
No. Before that, I would just like you paid for like half the shit in my Seattle apartment just via Champions League bets. I'm feeling very good. I'm very comfortable.
Those were not bets that I consider to be legitimate because they happened during the pandemic and we were all in wrought emotional states at the time. So I cannot be held responsible for any gambling I did during that time.
Fair enough. Say what you got to say. I should just, it's kind of crazy the extent to which I can almost budget in just money won from you in my annual budget. I might as well do it. I feel really good about it.
Cool. What do you think? Cool 5G or 5Gs or what?
No, not 5G. I think at least 2 though, honestly.
Yeah, I think so too. I need to budget that out of my budget, if you know what I mean.
Honestly.
Saul, you've been globetrotting. Where do we find you on this wonderful Wednesday afternoon?
This Wednesday, I'm in Brooklyn, New York, baby.
Wow.
Going to see our East Coast friends. Yeah, in enemy territory, one might say.
Yeah, or friendly territory, depending on, the fact that we do have friends out there now.
I mean, that's...
Have you seen our friends Nancy and Bits?
I'm going to go have dinner with our friend Nancy at Gregory Gourdet's New York restaurant tomorrow night. I'm very excited about that. What's the name of the restaurant? Is like Maison something. It's not as good as Cannes.
Super insightful.
Yeah. Wait. One second. Gregory Gourdet New York restaurant. It's like Maison Passerelle.
Huh.
I think it's not as catchy as Cannes. Like in New York, I think the Maison and the...
No.
But I'm very excited for this dinner. Very excited to see Nancy. It'll be a great time.
It sounds like an epic one. I mean, if it's even half as good as Con over in Portland, you're you're in for a ride. Because didn't that win like best restaurant at the James Beard Awards last year or something?
Yeah, Con might have been best new restaurant. I don't know if it was last year. I think it might have been more than that. I don't know. But it's been Con was heavily recognized. Nancy and Bits went to Maison Passerelle and said it was very good. I was hoping to get into Tatiana. That's pretty much impossible, as I understand it. That's Kwame's restaurant.
Yeah.
I totally fucked up though, dude, because I have been globetrotting. I was in Seattle last time we spoke. But before this New York trip, I was in DC, and I was staying at the hotel where Kwame's new restaurant Dogon.
No, I just assumed. I made that up.
Yeah, Dogon. And I was like, and I booked dinner. I was at a conference. I booked dinners every night, and I was like, holy shit, how did I not realize? And coming to one of our topics, Dogon, very much on that best new restaurants list for 2025. Yeah, I've messed up. I messed up, man.
Wow, you fucked up, bro. It's hard. If only there were some guides you could consult before you make all these reservations.
Yeah, that one's it was a bit of a whirlwind, I'm not gonna lie. It was Seattle to DC, a couple days at home, and now New York. I'm kind of just flying by the seat of my pants and hoping that people I know in these cities take me to good places. And apparently my DC contacts are not as tuned into the restaurant industry as we are.
They've got bigger fish to fry. Look, speaking of recent eats, let's focus on your recent eats in Los Angeles, because I understand you and I have something in common. We both hosted parents in Los Angeles recently. I gave a rundown of where I took my parents last week to Karen Palmer, who, by the way, got rave reviews on her performance once again, so no pressure, bud. Where did you take your father when he was in town?
I took him to Safi's. Safi's was the big one. Yeah, I had a gift card from a friend to go, and I'd been meaning to go for a while. He's a big kebab guy.
Yeah.
Right? Like Middle Eastern meats and stuff, he'll be happy. So that seemed like an easy hit, and it certainly was. I think Safi's was.
Did you get the plate kebab? Is that what it's called?
We got the shawarma, which I think. So we didn't get a skewer.
Okay.
Because Emily wanted the tagine fish thing they have, which I think was our one miss of the menu order. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
Everything else we got, I got some hummus. We had a lobster skewer that was amazing. Had some calamari, all really good. We got some shawarma that was excellent. And then I wanted the plate kebab, and we went tagine fish instead. And I somewhat regret it, but overall, a beautiful meal. Those guys know what they're doing. I'm glad to have finally made it there.
I see on the running order here, you have not actually talked about Courage Bagel yet. I understand you finally went.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the day after I proposed, I went to Courage that morning, the following morning. I don't know why. I was like, it's a moment. Let me go try Courage for the first time.
I think it's because you probably feel invincible after that moment. So you're like, yeah, there's no way they're going to make me wait in line today.
Dude, the line flew right by. Was not even an issue. It was great.
Yeah.
My take on Courage, really delicious, right? Like the seasoning, both like salt, fat. At least they know exactly what they're doing. Like really balanced. Is it a bagel? Is it a bagel?
Is it a bagel? Oh, that's your question.
Is it a bagel? Like, I get that it is, but it's not the bagel. Like, I would say my immediate thought walking away was this is a special occasion place.
Yeah.
For like that like, you know, the after next time. No, let's not make a joke about proposing again. I'm probably not going to do that. But next time I do have like a special moment, go have some Courage, a nice breakfast. But if I want a bagel, I'm going to Maury's. Like, Maury's is a East Coast style bagel. Courage is something else. And when I was eating it, I was like, this is pleasurable, but it's not bagel pleasurable. It's something else. It's something different.
I'm gonna tell you what my therapist always tells me in these kinds of situations, and that is, let's try to give this emotion some words, right? Let's lend some reasoning to this, right? How do you define bagel? Like, what do you mean when you say this is not a bagel? Because like, I would define bagel as a circular piece of bread that's boiled and then baked, and sometimes then brought to the next level by toppings like cream cheese, lox, tomatoes, whatever it may be.
Yeah, I guess what I'm referring to is a particular experience of eating the bagel, right? Where like you have like everything that Courage flips on its head in terms of like the thickness of the bite and like the doughiness of it, right? And of course like the hard crispiness of the exterior. I almost felt I was eating a like lox crostini with like a little extra something on it than like a bagel experience, right? Like literally, if I have a hankering for bagel, I don't think I would think I'm gonna go to Courage. If I'm hankering for a very cool, special, LA specific and unique, weekend lunch, I'm going to Courage. If I want a bagel, I'm going to go to Mauri's or somewhere else. And so, to me, it's like that was like the distinction. I understand that it technically is a bagel, but it just wasn't a I have like the olive oil from the lox dripping down my hand, right? And it was it's awesome, right? It's really good, but I'm like, and the way the bagel even falls apart because the way it's ripped in half almost, right? It's it kind of the experience is different.
It is different,
and not in a bad way, to be clear, but just not in a bagel way, not in a way where I was like, this is a bagel experience.
Is this your conservative side showing that you just don't like change?
I love change. I'm not saying there's anything wrong. I'm just noting for the pure I think it's cool that we have Courage. Speaking of being in New York, if only to say, haha, you guys don't have this and we have this cool other bagel experience. In that context, I will absolutely call it a bagel.
Yeah.
And take credit for having one over on the city on the East Coast. But just for me personally, I like, if I want a breakfast on the way to work and I want it to be a bagel, I'm gonna stop somewhere else.
Yeah,
but again,
okay,
it's just it's a different. Also, because it was so rich, it's so rich. I also got what they call a hottie, which is you can order a loose bagel. It's off menu, baby. I did my research. You can order a loose bagel with butter. They'll bring it right out to you.
Wow,
plain bagel, bam, right out the oven, hot with melted butter, delicious. And so even that was so rich. So rich.
Yeah, I could see that being rich. Yeah. There's definitely a high fat content, I assume, because they do finish everything with really good olive oil. They're using incredible products when it comes to the lox and stuff. So yeah, the richness never really gets me. I'm starting to think maybe our respective loves for Courage. It sounds like you have an appreciation. I'm not going to call you a hater.
I really I will go if we ever wanted to meet, I would go immediately. I definitely want to go back.
Yeah. I think it just comes from maybe you're an East Coast boy.
Yeah.
You grew up with a certain type of bagel. You're expecting a certain thing. For me, we ain't really got bagels in Europe. We grow up with just excellent bread, and this to me is just excellent bread, right? So to me, this really was what I want from a bread at breakfast experience, and that's what bagels fundamentally are.
That makes sense to me. That adds up. Excellent bread, I don't know, it's okay. I was in Florence this summer, and we had they have this famous bread in Florence that's not made with salt, and you're like, oh, this doesn't taste very good.
Yeah,
I would put salt in
this. That's a common thing in Italy. There's this place called Monza too, where they're famous. I remember every time we would go visit our family friends in Monza, the father of the family would always bring the bread basket, and he says, "This is the famous bread of Monza, and the secret is that they don't salt it." And we all would just eat it and be like, maybe they should salt it.
Yeah, I think we've learned. You don't make a mistake from history and be like, hey, check out this cool mistake I made hundreds of years later.
Yeah.
Just fix the mistake, and then it's better.
Yeah. We're way past this. It's it'd be great not getting tuberculosis shots.
Hey, move to Florida. You don't have to. There you go. Boom.
That's never going to happen for me. Okay, recent eats for me. I actually just got home from the Morrison in Atwater Village. I needed to do a burger today. My wife needed me out of the house for a couple of hours. We're moving, so everything is insane right now. But I wanted a place where I could simultaneously try a burger and watch the Chelsea-Bayern Munich match. Sadly, when I got there, the only match they were showing was Liverpool-Atletico Madrid, which turned out to be an excellent match, but now I have to go and watch the Chelsea match on delay and really try to avoid all spoilers, which so far I have done. The burger was okay, but overall, the vibes at the Morrison as a gastropub, amazing. That is a place I want to be watching a game. The staff are so nice. Also, just it was popping at noon on a Wednesday, but not in an obnoxious way. I pulled up my laptop and did work while I was watching the game right at the bar. So vibes were really good. The fries were spectacular. Actually, they were sort of in the mold of Popeyes. Have you ever had Popeyes fries?
Yeah, I have. They're kind of crinkly edges, right? They kind of rough them up. Yeah.
Yeah, battered a little bit. Yeah, exactly. And they're really crispy, really crunchy. But yeah, they also have that sort of unevenness to them that really sort of clings to sauce and whatnot. Really great fries. Burger was okay. I think it's a little overhyped. People think it's the best pub burger in Los Angeles. I do not think it is, but it was good. I can't say anything bad about it necessarily. But more interestingly, I recently went to Firstborn in Chinatown, which I'm not sure, was that a place we were supposed to go together?
I floated the idea of us going together with your wife when she and I went to Amiga Amore. But I'm not sorry to necessarily miss this one. I want to hear what you thought, though.
Okay, well, that's the thing, right? I feel like this week, Firstborn has been subject to some like slightly critical reviews from people whose opinions we don't really respect all that much. But regardless, I had a great time there. I thought it was a really great spot. So it's in the same plaza where Angry Egret used to be, where currently Steep is, right near Le Sorted's in Chinatown. Mm-hmm. And first of all, the space is awesome. It's really unassuming because you just wouldn't expect a restaurant this beautiful to be like nestled in the space. Really great little lounge where you can get a cocktail. I had like a really good like riff on a white Negroni. I think it had a little like grapefruit extract or something in there. Fantastic. And then we basically just like ordered a bunch of shit to the table and shared everything. And there were some real bangers, dude. Like the fried chicken, the Chongqing style fried chicken with like a little bit of sort of that Szechuan spice to it. Incredible. Really great fried chicken. I think it's my favorite fried chicken next to Anajak right now. Like really, really, really well done. Can't say enough good things about it. They had a really good beef tongue dish that came with like a mala sauce. Also had a little bit of that Szechuan spice to it as well. I was dining with our friends Abdo Sharif and also our other friends. I'm not sure if you've ever met Zaid, but our friend Zaid as well. None of them are beef tongue fans, but this was such a great dish that even they like tried it and liked it and went back for seconds. So that is the testament to me to a good dish. So yeah, I mean, honestly, like I would recommend this for any sort of night out, whether it's a date or if it's like a boys' night out. We successfully had a boys' night out there and it went fantastically. So I really enjoyed Firstborn. And then after that, we went to Cafe Tondo, this like really cool, like Mexico City inspired, but everything is Mexico City inspired these days, bar, which is like in Chinatown. It's right under the metro, like overpass. So it kind of feels like you're in Brooklyn, honestly. You're like under this overpass at this super cool bar, which is mostly outdoors. It's packed, like literally, like it's not so packed where it's like elbow to elbow like sardines, but it feels like this awesome, like really well-populated house party, basically. Like I don't think they have a liquor license, so mostly what you're drinking there is like beer, wine, or like vermouth. And we had like vermouth spritz after vermouth spritz that night. And dude, something about sipping vermouth spritz under the Metro Pass, surrounded by like a ton of people. The energy was amazing. Like big Cafe Tondo fan. I hear that their menu of food is actually really good too. We'll have to go sometime. But as far as just like place to hang out for a drink after dinner, Chinatown, man. I'll be heading there more, I think.
Dude, I want to spend more time in Chinatown. First of all, 2 great sounding experiences. Thank you for sharing. I will also say, because I work downtown, I was telling your wife, like, you, me, and her should get to like do a once monthly Chinatown weekday meetup.
That would be awesome.
I think there's some cool stuff happening there. There like has been cool stuff happening there. Yeah, right? It's got good breweries, got good like cafes, good restaurants. We should check it out.
Yeah, and I think people are afraid of it a little bit because of parking, kind of like they are with Koreatown a little. But like, if you know the hack, it's not a problem at all. I know exactly the area to park in Chinatown. Free street parking. I could have been there all night if I wanted to. So, and that was Friday night. So arguably should have been the busiest time.
Wait, you gonna gatekeep the spot? I guess you have to for it to stay. You have to.
Of course I'm gonna gatekeep the spot. Okay, no, I'm gonna share. Okay, I'm gonna share the spot. Literally across the street from Cafe Tondo, there's a ton of street parking, and also in the the streets perpendicular that run perpendicular to where Cafe Tondo is, tons of street parking there. It's a little bit of a walk if you're going to Firstborn or something like that, but it's like a 7-minute walk. It's not crazy. So I highly, highly recommend parking there. I should have gate kept it, dude. All right. So good eating all around. Now, there are a couple of news stories, Saul, I wanted to pick your brain on today. Let's start with the positive one. Bon Appétit published its annual list of best new restaurants in America, and 2 LA spots made the cut. 1, Fatima Wars' Comal at Mercado La Paloma, and 2, Courtney Kaplan and Charles Namba's Camellia in the Arts District. Saul, I want to start with this. The time frame this covers in terms of best new restaurants, it says that it covers restaurants that opened between March 2024 and March 2025. Does that seem like a fair time frame given it's now September 2025?
You mean just like new restaurants that have opened since March aren't getting recognized.
Yes, that and a restaurant that opened in March of 2024 doesn't feel all that new.
Sure. Like I think Azizam opened actually in March 2024 and was on the list last year.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, I guess I don't care. I don't care that much. Like, but it would just for like the pure logic brain. I guess I would love if it was like 2024 restaurants.
Exactly.
And we're going to publish it in March,
Yeah.
March 2025, right?
Yeah.
And then we do 2025 restaurants. Give it. I understand why you need a couple months in between. If a restaurant opened in March 2025, it makes sense not to publish for until September because you want to give those restaurants a few months to get up and running and to taste them after kind of like the opening rush and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so that makes sense. I just, for my brain,
I know.
2024 restaurants, 2025 openings, let's do it like that. But whatever.
I think that's what it is for me too. Like I'm totally on board with having a cutoff date. I recognize you need a cutoff date because then like you can't go to a restaurant that opened in like, August and automatically put it under consideration, right? I understand why they do that. But yeah, if this was a restaurant of all the best new openings or just the openings of 2024, right? And then you put it out in like
Q1. But a Q1, yeah.
I guess put it out in like March of 2020. Yeah, Q1 of 2025. I just think that would help my brain a little bit more. Right now it's a little bit like, wait, Camellia has been open forever. And yeah, I did go check and like it falls within that time frame. It just feels like it's been open forever. So to call it, I was like genuinely surprised to see it on the list. I was like, wait, does it even count? And when you do the math, yes, it does.
This is like the Emmy Awards where like the Bear season 2 won its awards while the Bear season 3 was like airing, and you're like, what are we reckoning? Yeah, like that, but different.
I feel like AI could do this, man. Just give us like instant awards right after things happen and like compare things like, just kidding.
You need to stop with the AI stuff, man. We don't need AI.
Just kidding. Last thing I want is for AI to take the jobs of the good folks at Bon Appetit. All right, let's talk about the LA restaurants that got recognized. Comal and Camellia. I've been to Camellia. Have you been to Comal?
I've been to Comal.
Okay, how do you feel about Comal being on the list then?
Well deserved. I like Comal a lot. The only downside is you could go to Mercado La Paloma and you'd see the whole Bosch line like going out the door for lunch. And the Comal would be completely empty, and you just walk up and get a couple great tacos. And like the quality of the tortillas and what they're doing with the corn out there is so good. I'm guessing that's changing because they've been recognized a lot recently.
Yeah.
But no, I mean also just both for the quality of the food and also the nature of the project.
Yeah, I said this last week, but I was surprised that Cobal wasn't included and Fatima Juarez, the chef, wasn't included on the best new chefs list of Bon Appetit, because if there was a Los Angeles entry for that award, I could have totally seen her getting that award. Camellia, I've been to Camellia. We went for my wife's birthday last year. We were trying to keep things light because we were going to Disneyland the next day, and I don't think this is a restaurant where you're supposed to keep things light. It's literally like a French-Japanese bistro, so trying to take things light there feels like a great way to not get the full experience. So I don't think I can fully speak to it. However, I can say like it's a gorgeous restaurant. They've been getting a ton of accolades. And, obviously we know that Charles and Courtney are incredible restaurateurs based on the Tsubaki and Ototo of it all. So this is really cool to see. I also know that, this was a restaurant that was in the arts district during the curfews due to the most recent ICE raids. So cool that they're getting some shine and some recognition in this moment. So happy to see that. Now, I know we like to talk about sort of how these lists come together. There's a great interview on This Is Taste. Matt Rodbard speaks with Joseph Hernandez at Bon Appetit, who helped put this list together. So if you're interested in the machinations, dear listener, of how this all comes together, I'll put that in the show notes. But one thing that stuck out to me from that interview is that Joseph said that LA is always going to be kind of that perennial restaurant city that's got something going on. And if they allowed it, there'd be like 7 restaurants on this list from LA. First of all, Joseph, we love you. Los Angeles loves you. We couldn't agree with you more. But it sort of got me thinking, what are the other ones that could have been in contention this year? And I sort of like divided it in my head into a couple categories. The media darlings that I'm like, whoa, really surprised they didn't get on there. And then the ones that I'm like, the ones I truly love that I'm like, oh, I wish they made it. I gave you the same assignment. Did any come to mind?
The only one, so I mean, we've been to Rasa Ruma, I've had Rishon Roti, we've been to the Benjamin. The one that I didn't see on your list that I know you're going to get through, Baby Bistro. Did that open too recently? No, right? I thought that was like that's got a lot of like hipster sort of attention in LA and like legitimate like I think people think it's a great spot. I think by the way that should be spot number one for weekday Chinatowny. I know it's not like dinner for us.
Yes,
but I was a little bit surprised to not see that one there. Maybe or at least like in the conversation.
Yeah, that may have missed the cutoff. Honestly, that's probably all it is. I think.
Let me see.
Yeah, if I were to guess, I'm gonna guess Baby Bistro opened in like April or May or something like that. I am surprised because if it was in the time frame, I would be surprised because Baby Bistro obviously did make it on the New York Times list of best restaurants in America right now. So that's pretty cool.
You're right. I think it was May.
Okay.
May this year. So yeah. See, but this maybe speaks to the weird dates of the thing. So I was like, oh, Baby Bistro's not on here.
Yeah. So yeah, the timing is a little confusing, but hey, if they keep going the way they're going, I could totally see them making it next year. My list that I put together, so based on media darlings, like I could have seen the Benjamin getting a shout for this. I feel like the Benjamin has gotten some middling reviews on social media recently, and I feel like the buzz has died down a little bit around there. However, I think if this list was coming out like, earlier in the year or like closer to when the Benjamin opened, it for sure would have been on there. Like it was just such a hot player and bringing something new and exciting to that neck of Melrose. I still love the Benjamin, by the way, despite those middling reviews. Sam's Place in Highland Park is another one that got so much buzz when it opened. I absolutely love Sam's Place. We're like regulars there. It's a great place for a vermouth spritz and like a hanger steak on a Wednesday afternoon. I wouldn't have been surprised to see it on the list, but I'm also like okay with the fact that it's not on there. Because you and I have discussed this, but it's very much like in the stir crazy mold. And like those restaurants have a time and place and are fantastic restaurants and are great neighborhood restaurants. But, they're not necessarily like reinventing the wheel or anything. They shouldn't have to, but they're not. Mm-hmm. The ones that I think deserved it, one of my favorite restaurants in LA that I talk about all the time, Bridgetown Roti. Like I checked, it's been a pop-up for a while, but they technically opened their brick and mortar within the time frame of this award.
Are they too casual? Is it because it's a fast casual concept that it's not included here?
I don't think so. I don't think that's a specification that they make on this list. So to me, this one is kind of a head scratcher. Like I know like Rashida Holmes is so like well respected amongst like all of the media folks. She obviously like has been nominated for long listed for James Beard Awards even when she was just in her pop-up days, right? So maybe there's a little Bridgetown fatigue or something, but I feel like it's still fucking amazing and easily could have been on this. The other one that I think could have at least had a shout is Ras Aruba of Johnny Lee fame, which you just mentioned before. In terms of restaurants of this caliber that are serving food from this particular region, like Malaysia and Singapore, there's not a ton out there. At least, definitely not in Los Angeles, but I would be surprised if there's a ton popping off around the country. So in terms of a restaurateur doing something like this, that's novel, that's unique, and that frankly is pretty damn good, I think that this, was unlucky to miss out on something like this.
Yeah, that also reminds me of Curry Pinch as well, which we haven't been to yet, but Curry Pinch is in that category.
Yeah.
I think that along, we've talked about Caribbean food kind of like having a moment, and that's reflected in this list. Lennox in Seattle is a Afro-Caribbean restaurant that's recognized here.
Yeah.
I also think this like elevated Southeast Asian, and also like Cambodian, like different sort of flavors of those countries is big. I think like one of a really good restaurant actually out here in New York and Crown Heights just opened up. That's Cambodian like that. The one I didn't hear you list that I would be surprised as well would be River.
Oh yeah,
which you won't let us go to River with our friend Sammy because you canceled 6 times. But River seems to be like kind of in this zone as well.
Yeah, River's a great shout actually, and I think that they would technically qualify within the time frame. And they've got nothing but incredible reviews. Bill Addison really wrote a love letter to them in the LA Times, and then obviously they were just on that New York Times list as well. Yeah, that's a weird one too. This probably just speaks to like what Joseph was saying in his interview with Matt. Like there are so many LA restaurants that could have made this, and you kind of got to be selective. I also have heard people talk about this when it comes to list making, that if they're kind of between two like Japanese-ish restaurants, they're not going to include both.
They'll pick one.
Yeah. So if it was between Camellia and River, it may just come down to whoever was in charge of that decision having a slight preference for Camellia. So yeah, Good for Camellia, man. I'm really happy for them. I know they've had a really tough time. Okay. Overall, you're happy with this, though?
Yeah, it's a good list. I remember we talked about this Bon Appetit list, and they're really good about. I need to listen to the taste interview with Matt Robert, but they're really good about talking through the process. I remember we talked about them last year and like their level of like how thorough they are. By the way, like we're talking about like restaurants that have been media darlings and gotten attention just as potential, in the running. But it sounds like at Bon Appetit they actually do a pretty good job of like making it about the food, right? And like, really doing their homework. So yeah, good list.
Obviously we've talked a lot about how tough the environment has been for LA restaurants and all the closings. In that context, is Joseph Fernandez's statement about the fact that, LA could have had 7 restaurants on this list if they allowed it.
Yeah.
Is that surprising at all?
Well, no, I don't think. Well, it's not surprising, just because, just anecdotally, I like and enjoy the LA restaurant scene. It is a little, though, counter to the narrative that we'd been kind of hearing about. Not just about like the restaurant closing and how hard it is, but even I think like Austin Tedesco and Emily Wilson had sort of had a conversation about the fact that like, and I hope I'm not misrepresenting this, but I think they had a conversation about like, hey, it's like not quite as like, there's not like a ton of stuff opening that like really gets us excited or like catches our eye in LA right now, right? And I don't think that's necessarily incorrect, but then you also take a step back and you're like, Baby Bistro, Camellia, Bershon Roti, River, like we still have it very good.
Yeah.
It's just that there's also this pall of bad news, of course, covering the environment as well.
Well, it's funny. We were just up in Santa Barbara, and there's a whole episode dropping on Santa Barbara next week. But like, one thing that was brought to our attention was like, there have been like 40 restaurant openings in Santa Barbara this year, and that is a city of 90,000 people, and there are like 400 restaurants total, with 40 new ones coming this year. And there's a lot of questions about like, can the population of Santa Barbara like sustain all these restaurants, right? And I feel like, what Joseph Fernandez's statement shows us is, okay, maybe some people aren't happy with like the excitement of the restaurants that have opened, but you can't deny that a lot of restaurants have opened in Los Angeles over the last year, despite all the closings that we've heard of. There's also been a really steady stream of openings. I mean, I track this shit on Eater. It's like impossible to keep up, right? I think it's hard for even Eater to keep up with the news of posting the news of like when things are opening, right? Is that an added challenge? I'm like, is that an added challenge for the restaurant scene? Like we've talked about fires, we talked about ice, right? Is just the sheer number of restaurants out there to compete with a problem?
Really, that's always been true, right? That's like the baseline why it's hard to like succeed in the industry, right? Because there's constant new competition coming into the market, right?
Yeah.
Like I think yeah. It's like it's like a table stakes thing. I think the question is this. I think there will always be new openings. The question is, are those openings of a level of, I don't know, whatever you might want to say, like pushing the boundary, innovation, blah, 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 ambition, right? That matches what we've seen in the past. And I think the vibe earlier this year was, I don't know, maybe it's a little safe, and maybe it still is a little safe. Maybe these aren't quite the same as, some things we were seeing in the mid 2010s. But really, we still do have it pretty good, and there's plenty to support.
Yeah.
Right? There's plenty to get out and support if to keep the thing alive. And I think I look forward to more cool things opening as things go on. Like Dom's Tavern, baby. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, I can't wait to talk about that next week. Dom's Taverna, yeah. But hey, I actually have a great sports analogy. Are you ready for it?
I'm always ready.
Okay, I think LA right now, the LA dining scene is a little bit like Serie A, the Italian soccer league, okay? Dominance in the 90s, the best soccer league in the entire world, okay? Players from all over the world would flock to Italy to go play in this league, right? However, the league fell on some financial hard times, and the Premier League took over as the premier league in the world, no pun intended, with the most money, players wanting to go there, right? And Serie A went through a real dip, and now it's back on the rise, not at the same like financial level, but it's the only one of the major leagues that has had consistently different title challenges. Many would say it's like the most exciting league in world football right now. I'm thinking LA's in a little bit of a Serie A moment where, because of the economy, the things that were happening when we were at our fine dining peak in the 2010s, the mid 2010s, when restaurants like Animal were sort of changing the game of like what fine dining looked like in America, that's not really happening anymore. But what we're seeing right now after a tough time is the next generation of chefs coming and trying some new things. It's not quite at the same level as it was back then, but if you really look and you really take the time to experience it, it's still the most exciting place to eat in America. Analogy out of 10?
That's a 3 for me. Comparing LA to Serie A is disrespectful to LA, just so you know. I don't know who calls it the most exciting league in the world aside from people who are literally Italian, maybe. So
Italian sports journalists.
Good attempt. Look, the story you told, I generally followed. I just don't think the analogy works from a sports accuracy standpoint.
All right, well, another sports analogy. You miss every shot you don't take. All right, we've covered the good. Let's descend into the not so good. LA Taco's Lexus Olivier Ray penned a piece last week, I think, titled, "What Were Tucker Carlson, Tulsi Gabbard, and Kevin McCarthy Doing at Damian on Monday night?" According to an anonymous source, a group of right-wing political figures, including these aforementioned folks, Enrique Caruso, were spotted dining at Enrique Olvera's acclaimed Mexican restaurant after speaking at the All-In Summit in Los Angeles. The gathering drew attention given the ongoing immigration raids in Southern California and the controversial ties of some summit speakers, such as Palantir CEO Alex Karp, to surveillance and deportations. Damian clarified that the dinner was a private rental on a day the restaurant was closed, emphasizing that it was not affiliated with the summit and distanced itself from the guest list. Now, the piece stirred, as you would expect, a bit of conversation on Instagram when LA Taco posted it. Most of the comments expressed disgust at Damian, with several folks calling for a boycott of the restaurant. Others argued that punishing a restaurant for unknowingly taking money during a tough economic time is hardly a boycott-worthy offense. Saul, where do you stand on this?
So we're gonna get through how basically the response from LA Taco spokesperson and all that. I basically think this is good reporting from LA Taco, and I don't put this at the feet of Damian based on the explanation the spokesperson gives beyond maybe they've learned now they need to vet the people who are renting it.
Yeah.
Right. I think what it sounds like is basically the event was organized by a third party event person. They were not given a guest list. And look, I'm taking them at their word on this to be sure. But it sounds like that's what happened. And then these folks show up at the restaurant. Damian staff is not serving food. They're not actually serving these people. They're just giving the space, and they didn't know who was going to be using it. Those folks show up. They are, not great, not the best, you could say.
Controversial.
Yeah, and so I think both the emotional response to that and the reporting is fair. The emotional response is fair. And I think, unfortunately, Damian will get backlash for this, possibly deserved only for the lesson learned from a PR perspective.
Yeah.
But really not something I'm oh, I don't think Damian is morally or Enrique or Olvera is necessarily morally compromised here. I think they just we're renting out their space on the day their restaurant is closed.
Yeah.
Turn out to be some shitty people who are renting it. And they're oh shit, this looks bad. And now they have to go deal. And from now on, I'm going to guess they're going to ask to know who's using the space.
Yeah, that's definitely a very nuanced take. And it's not the kind of take that you're seeing a ton of on social media.
No. What?
Yeah, I know, right? Nuance lacking on social media. Let's talk a little bit about Damian's response and the PR of it all. So, friend of the pod, Joey Rubin, commented in the comment section of LA Taco's post, "Big fan of the spokesperson here for making it so much worse. Never waste a crisis." So, as a reminder, the spokesperson's exchange with LA Taco was as follows. Maya Del Olmo, the director of communications and marketing for Casamata, which is Olvera's restaurant group, told LA Taco that they are not in a position to comment further. Never a great start, but she says, as a restaurant, our role is to provide hospitality. Just to be clear, this event was planned by a third party that only used the venue on a day that Damian was closed. Damian did not provide food or services for the event, and we were not informed of the guest list. When asked if Damian regularly rents out their space and if the event was associated with the All-In Summit, Del Olmo responded, "We do occasionally rent out the space and work with party planners, caterers, and wedding planners." She could not confirm or deny if the event was associated with All-In Summit. She says, "I cannot confirm that information as we deal directly with the planner who is bound by a confidentiality agreement." Del Olmo said, "This is why the assistants' names were not disclosed to us." She declined to comment further when asked if Damian would have rented out their restaurant to the event organizers if the guest list had been disclosed. And she finished by saying, "You're welcome to take a look at Damian's past collaborations and the kinds of events our team usually supports, which reflect the values we uphold." So, any obvious boo-boos with the way that Del Olmo handled this?
Only in that I think I would have edited out the as a restaurant, our role is to provide hospitality. Like basically the prevaricating at the front.
Yeah.
Like our role is to provide hospitality. Like just cut and go straight to be clear, this event was planned by a third party. Only used the venue the day we were closed. We did not provide food and services, and we were not informed of the guest list. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
You know, to be like, we also have to like just in terms of like the particular PR backlash on this event, I think I would have kept it to that, and then the rest I thought was fine.
Yeah, I mean, look, in this kind of situation, you only have a couple options, right? It's like either you like double down and like really try to like defend what you've done. You either completely like condemn it, right? And like say, oh, we had no idea. We completely condemn all the people that were at this event and we'll never do this again. This is on us, and we'll like, take the steps to make sure this never happens again. Or you try to do something in the middle and explain what happened, right? But also like hope that people will read your intentions through that. And that is the most difficult tightrope to walk. And I think that that's what Del Olmo was trying to do here. She wasn't willing to go as far as saying like, this was wrong. We're absolutely never going to do this again. Egg on our face. But she also wasn't willing to really defend it either, right? She wasn't basically able to say like, hey, look, our restaurant is going through a tough time. We needed to take money from wherever it was available. We didn't know. We wouldn't do it again, but like we had to do it. She didn't either, right? And she kind of was in this no man's land, which I think led to, first of all, clearly LA Taco was unsatisfied, because you can read that in all of the follow-up questions that they asked. And really, I mean, yeah, follow-up questions would have come regardless, but I just mean like the fact that they left a lot of these things open-ended in their reporting, right? They're like, Del Olmo refused to say this, Del Olmo refused to comment further, Del Olmo refused to say X. That to me seems like, okay, you didn't really address everything they were asking, and there was a better way to communicate from the outset that would have prevented some of these follow-up questions.
Possibly. I think, yeah, again, maybe I'm too, forgiving here. I think the follow-up questions, like, it's good reporting to be like, here were our follow-up questions that weren't answered, right? To be like, here, like, we did ask these follow-ups, so people in the comments aren't like, why didn't you ask these follow-ups, right? That's good reporting, I think. And then I think also LA Taco, or rather, Miss Olmo, the thing that she didn't say that would have been the extra mile, or would have been, I think, the thing that fixed it is because she does say, hey, look, we did not know who this was.
Yeah.
The third-party provider was bound by a confidentiality agreement, so we did not know who was coming. She could have said, our policy going forward will be that we won't work with people who like don't tell us the attendees.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't imagine they like, or I don't know about can't imagine, but like, I also don't know how standard of a practice it is for restaurants to allow like anonymous parties to essentially come and use their event spaces, right? That's the question I don't know the answer to.
I think it happens. If
it's a standard thing, yeah. If it's a standard thing, then I don't think like then it's the thing where like, oh shit, this is who. By the way, fucking crazy ironic that like these people who are pushing this like anti-immigration and terror campaign against immigrants from south of the border to be like going to fucking Damian, like
it's gross.
To me, it's gross. That's like you shouldn't be like allowed here.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? That's where I'm sort of like tripped up on this one. It's because I agree that that's gross, and like I think that that's where the ire should be placed, right? Placing it at the feet of Damian to me is where they start to lose me a little bit. And that's why I have this last question for you, right? Which is, do you think LA Taco treated Damian fairly in all of this? And that's what I mean, right? I feel like the ire towards the people organizing the event, the grossness, the hypocrisy of it all, fair, 100% fair. But let's not forget, Damian is a restaurant that is in the Arts District, which was subject to a curfew, incredibly tough time that they're going through. I heard last year from restaurateurs like Botanica specifically on the interview, she said this, that they had to do an event. They had to lease out their restaurant to a fucking tobacco company last year, right?
Oh, wow.
Not exactly like a business you would want to associate with. It's bad PR, but it's also like, like bad juju, bad karma, right? To like be doing that, in my opinion. But they had to do that. That was just the reality of the situation in order to like make ends meet that month. That's what they had to do. So taking into consideration that this is something that restaurants do, that this is a restaurant that's had a particularly tough time because of where it's situated. And 3, I think there's a little bit more to the story because I've heard that like this is not the only restaurant that was hosting people this weekend.
Of course.
I've heard other restaurants being involved. To sort of like take aim at Damian and treat them like the ones that need to like respond to this, to me is like, that's where you lost me. Like, why not go to All In Summit, right? And be like, why did you decide to have your event here? Like, why did you, like, do you not think that like bringing these people to a restaurant that's Mexican owned and that, you know, like during the ICE raids is a problem? I didn't see that in the story. I didn't see like, hey, we reached out to the organizers of the event so that they would speak out or to answer these questions.
I guess that's fair. That would be an interesting angle. I don't know. Like, I doubt they would have heard back. And to be fair, like LA Taco is local, like neighborhood LA Streets reporting on this stuff. I think it was totally fair to question for them to look at an LA institution, right? To say like, hey, what's your role in this, right? I think, I mean, as a reader, I look at it, I'm like, what the fuck is Tucker Carlson doing?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what's he doing eating Enrique Olvera's food? He should be not allowed to do that. Have enough shame. Of course he doesn't like to do that.
Yeah.
I think that LA Taco in this piece treated Damian quite fairly because because at the very end, right, at the whole second half of the piece or the last quarter of the piece, is them saying Damian hosts events for like local nonprofit organizations and has done so multiple times this year. It's for Cielo, an indigenous woman-led nonprofit that works with indigenous communities in LA, fed Mexican firefighters who came to LA to fight the wildfires, raised over $1 million to fund critical nutrition efforts for women and children around the globe, and that Enrique Olvera himself has spoken out directly against Trump and Trump's reelection.
Yeah.
Included a quote. That to me is all to me, this was actually like a good full picture reporting. It's like, hey, this thing happened.
Yeah.
This is weird. And these people are like attacking our communities. Why are they at this restaurant? We asked a person, this is the answer they gave us. This is the answer they didn't give us. And by the way, this restaurant does really good stuff. That's full context. Now, when you post the headline on social media.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, sure. Then it gets a different thing. But I don't know. That's kind of the responsibility of the audience a little bit. Like, read the piece.
No. So that's a thing. That's a thing, right? Like LA Taco announced a couple months ago, I think, a few weeks ago, I'm losing all sense of time, that they were moving to a social first type of reporting. Basically, like that they were still going to be posting stories on their website, but really they were they were really putting all their eggs in the social basket, meaning that that's where they wanted to engage the most with their audience, right? And if you look at the article on their website, guess how many comments it has?
I'm looking at it right now. 0 comments. Yeah, I do notice that.
0 comments.
Maybe I'll comment.
Yeah, maybe you will. Maybe you should leave a positive comment or something. But if you look at the social media of it, hundreds of comments, maybe thousands at this point, right? Like, so, and in that social media post, I didn't see a lot of positivity towards Damian. It's just the headline. So expecting people to read that positivity in the article, to me, isn't good enough. I don't know, to me. Look, I'm not saying this is bad reporting. I'm not even saying they were necessarily unfair to Damian, actually. I think that the way that they wrote the article for the type of article it was very fair to Damian. If this was like the year 2000, and people were actually reading articles the entire way through, sure, 100% fair. But I just think like in this environment, taking aim at Damian when you could be taking aim at the All In Summit, I don't know. It's a question. It's just a question.
It's not at the All In Summit though. It's at the people. So it looks like they. And then the latest headline on the story is Caruso defends attending event with right-wing figures, falsely claims Gabby Giffords was there too, which is very funny.
I have a theory about that.
Is he mixing it up with someone else?
I think his geriatric brain confused Gabby Giffords with Tulsi Gabbard.
Tulsi Gabbard, yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, which is a hilarious confusion.
That's really funny. And so they're following. And so this is a follow-up piece on that story, particularly taking aim at. Oh yeah, look, check this out. Follow-up story taking aim at Rick Caruso, and apparently Casamada cut ties with their private event planner after the LA Taco story was published.
That's good. That's good, right? That's great. But that's a follow-up story. It's too late. You can't put the genie back in the bottle sometimes. And I feel like sometimes it's not just LA Taco that does this, by the way. It's media in general. There is an urge to be the ones to scoop the story, right? To like publish it. A little bit more time would maybe lead to a better outcome. Maybe it would lead to fewer clicks. But, you know.
No, I mean, I don't have Instagram anymore, but if I pulled up the reel, I want to see. Basically, my thesis is I don't really have a problem with this story. I understand the blowback on Damian, but frankly, they did rent out their event, their space to shitty people. So that's like and look, there's that's not to say they should be punished overtly for that. And I do think the reporting itself gave fair shrift to Damian. And I think we'll see. I doubt. I don't know. I hope Damian won't like face long-term repercussions for it. They've taken the steps, it sounds like, immediately to address the issue, and maybe that could be like, you know, boosted further to like clarify for folks.
They should definitely
that like Enrique Olvera wasn't at the door like ushering in Tucker Carlson to his restaurant. Like, that's not what happened here. But
welcome, brother. No, it's not what happened. No, you know, it's just like I if I were Damian, by the way, I would post something on social media, like a statement saying like they've cut ties. I don't know if they have or they haven't, but if they haven't, they definitely should.
Redownloading Insta as we speak. This is why you can't stay away, man. I want to see what's up.
Bro, I can't believe you got off. I did notice a suspicious lack of likes on my content.
I figured you have enough now with over like 35,000 followers. I'm like, he doesn't need my one like, but
I always need your one like, dude. You have no idea how much it means to me emotionally. Look, I think we can agree this is good reporting. It's classic LA Taco reporting, and it's honestly why we need to continue to fund them as readers, right? But like in the same breath, I don't know, man. I do not have confidence in readers to apply nuance to a situation like this, and I worry that that's going to hurt Damian beyond what it deserves. I guess that's where I'm going to end that.
I guess we'll see. I hope not.
Okay. I'll see you at Damian for dinner because we'll continue to support.
I need to go back, so let's do that.
Are you down for a rapid round of Chef's Kiss Big Miss?
Let's do it.
Okay, the New York Times, Ligaya Michon reviewed Alinea as it embarks on its epic 20-year anniversary global tour. The review finds the restaurant still dazzling with theatricality, torches, balloons, edible tricks, etc., but less consistently groundbreaking in its food. While legendary hits like the exploding truffle raviolo and hot potato sphere still shine, many newer dishes feel fussy, disconnected, or technically uneven, undermining the promise of innovation. Michon concludes that Alinea now leans more on spectacle than substance, delivering moments of joy but not always the deeper emotional or culinary impact that once made it revolutionary. She lands on a tepid 2 stars. Saul, is Michon's summary of Alinea a chef's kiss or a big miss, especially as someone who just went to the Alinea experience at the Mayborn Hotel in Beverly Hills?
Big chef's kiss. This was my take. Yo, hire me, New York Times. I'm ready. I have the taste buds. But yeah, no, I think this resonates closely with what me and Emily and Ben and Valentina all experienced, which was that like it was cool as an experience, but it very much seemed that food was like the second, if not third priority.
Wow.
And like we walked away being like, some of that was good. Like the hot and cold potato bite was like my favorite bite there, and the guy mentions that in her piece is like because for the 20th anniversary thing they brought back some like old favorites, right, just to bring them around the country. And the old favorites were like by far the most memorable and favorite bites there, and the rest was like really seemed to be more about like the fog machines and the cool decor and the cool lights, right? Than necessarily the food is what it is.
You know what's ironic about that is that in the piece it sounds like Grant Achatz is like very much dead set on like the big shift he's made to the restaurant over the last like 5 years or so is that he wants to give the people what they want. Mm-hmm. That's how he articulated it. Does this just mean that we as a populace are idiots for just wanting more smoke and mirrors?
No. I thought what he was saying. I thought what happened was like Alinea was food innovation first, and then it was like emotional innovation. Like he wanted to like be more theatrical, and then more recently he's like maybe I should just give the people the food they want. Because it was kind of a learning from the more theatrical side. That's how I took it, where it was like, oh, maybe this theatrical thing isn't like...
Yeah, interesting.
And trying to like, play to people's emotions, but not with the food isn't necessarily the recipe. I also, by the way, had a thought of like, maybe Chef GPT isn't working so well for Mr. Achatz these days, after that other article.
I would be like really interested to see what happens if we ask Chef Ackett's to just like whip us up something out of our fridge, like for dinner, like if he could do it.
It would be amazing. What are you talking about? Of course it would be.
I don't know. I just feel like sometimes
Disrespectful, man.
he just has to make everything a balloon or something. And I'm just like, maybe he doesn't remember how to make like a pasta sauce anymore. I don't know.
I think he would just make balloons out of our pasta sauce. I don't know. Could probably do it. By the way, just for the record, I did look up LA Taco on Instagram, and they did post the positive stories of Damian hosting nonprofits in their Instagram scroll. Now, people might not even scroll to like the 6th page of an Instagram site anymore, but just wanted noted, I think that's a fair move.
I think they did their best. Okay. Eater wrote a number of stories this week on restaurants we thought we had lost or were in danger of losing, bouncing back. Mona Holmes tells the story of how Angelino's rallying around Doolin's on Crenshaw has helped the restaurant weather the toughest storm of their storied history. Matthew Kang reports on how the future at Malibu's The Real Inn is looking brighter since the California Department of Parks and Rec indicated they would support the restaurant's rebuild on PCH. And Rebecca Rowland reports that the original Pantry Cafe in downtown LA will reopen in late 2025 under new ownership, and that Cole's French Dip is pushing back its closure date once again, this time to November 2025. The common theme in all of these stories? Incredible public support and community rallying to save beloved establishments. Saul, the notion that our voices as customers actually matter, chef's kiss or big miss?
Yeah, big chef's kiss again. And these are like stories that need to be like as Mona is doing and as Matthew is doing, like these need to be like blasted out, right? Like,
yeah,
your dollar. This is kind of like people like, I don't know, when they don't vote in like local elections, they don't believe their vote counts. Like, It actually does. If you actually go out, particularly in a local context, you can make things change. and these are great stories. Now, I don't know if it'll be enough to necessarily save Coles forever or whatever it may be, but still, it's heartening, I think, to see the response.
No, it's awesome. Definitely. We should post this, show people their voice matters. Your voice, your vote, your voice.
Your dollar,
you know?
Your dollar, baby.
Yeah. Don't silence it. It matters. Okay. Moving on. Food and Wine's Merlin Miller reports on stretchy yogurt, the sticky trend taking over TikTok. Reading from the piece. Clips of the trend depict a thicker, almost stringy form of yogurt that can still be spooned but has visible tension in its texture. Perhaps the easiest way to describe its viscosity is to compare it to slime, the goopy, non-edible material that's been popular online for nearly a decade. Oh. Saul, I think I can tell from your face, but stretchy yogurt, chef's kiss, or a big miss?
I'm literally trying not to retch just at the description. That's so disgusting. Hard pass. Never do this. Dude, this is edible. People are eating this?
Yes.
People are eating, and they're not choking? Like what's happening? It's like yogurt. You have to like chew it, right? You have to chew the yogurt. Like you can't like crunch because it's rubber. You're eating rubber. You're eating glue.
Have you ever had like really good mozzarella di bufala or like even a burrata, right? A fresh burrata? I'm picturing that.
I see where you're going, but even that, like. No, because burrata and mozzarella both they have their viscosities. I think are at an appropriate place, either loose or like firm. What the picture shows is truly just like literally slime. It's slime. Don't eat slime. Don't eat it. Just eat Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt is delicious. Normal yogurt, great. We don't need to fix yogurt. I hate it.
All right, moving on. CNBC reports that convenience stores are eating fast food chains breakfast. Specifically, convenience stores with upgraded food programs are increasingly siphoning off breakfast customers from fast food chains. Chains like Wawa, Sheetz, and Casey's are winning on variety, perceived value, and quality, while fast food giants like McDonald's struggle with declining morning traffic and price-sensitive consumers. Saul, really, this was all vehicle for me to ask you whether you think Wawa is a chef's kiss or a big miss.
Wawa's a chef's kiss, always. Here's the funny thing, right? Growing up in Jersey, Wawa, special place in your heart. And it's a regional thing, right? So you like champion it. I move out west. I'm like, oh, you guys have In-N-Out. We have Wawa. It's special. Wawa, at least the last time I went, it's pretty gross. It actually it's not great. It is gas station convenience, like sandwich food, kind of. Like it's a little bit better than that, and maybe they've upgraded since then, but it wasn't like amazing.
Yeah. There's a phrase in Italian my dad likes to say. It's l'uomo una bestia s'abitua a tutto, which means man is a beast and he gets used to everything, which basically just means like,
hell yeah. That's such a hard line. That's a badass thing to say. Yeah.
I think he said it when he came to visit my college apartment, which looked like a nuclear bomb had exploded, and was basically just like, real man, like humans can really get used to any situation.
You know, I will say with Wawa and also with living in a dirty apartment, these are things that like high schoolers and college students are okay with, because like you have less money and you are up late doing whatever, right? So then you eat Wawa. Wawa should not actually become like a meal replacement. In real life, like when you're going to your, like, I don't think it's actually a good thing to do, or it's like not like a good situation, good living situation there. But when you're young, it's cool. You go, you can afford a little sandwich. You're up late. Yeah.
I'm excited to review it one day and give the East Coast my honest opinion. All right, final one for you. American tennis star Taylor Townsend was forced to apologize after her comments on Chinese food caused uproar in China. Reading from CNN, the 29-year-old, who is currently in the Chinese city of Shenzhen for the Billie Jean King Cup finals, posted several videos to her Instagram story where she expressed shock at some of the food being served. Some of the dishes included turtle, bullfrogs, and sea cucumber, all considered traditional ingredients in China and many other parts of the world. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen, and people are eating this, she said in a caption on one of her videos. I'ma have to talk to HR because what the hell, turtle and bullfrog is wild, she wrote on another picture of a menu posted on Instagram. So Taylor's ill-advised comments are of a big miss, but what about the behind-the-scenes food reviews from athletes on what they're being served at the pro facilities? Does that sound like a chef's kiss or a big miss? Would you be down for that series?
It's not the most interesting thing to me, because that's shit that none of us are ever going to be able to eat. It's not like a person going to like a nice Michelin star restaurant being like, this is what it's like to eat here, and you're like, oh, I wonder, maybe one day I can go save up and eat there. You're not going to eat at the pro facility, so I don't really care, but maybe some enterprising athlete who wants to transition to food influencing post-career can give it a shot. People in the U.S. eat turtle and frog.
Yeah.
I don't know. Taylor's ignorant, man.
Taylor's sheltered. Taylor is sheltered, yeah.
Yeah.
I would love this, but it has to be the right athlete, right? Like it can't be like God save us from like what's Travis Kelce doing this, right? Like we have enough Travis Kelce.
No. Anthony Edwards. That's what I'd listen to.
Anthony Edwards doing this would be epic. Cole Palmer doing this would be hilarious. Like
would be incomprehensible, but yeah.
It would be amazing.
Anthony Edwards, I think Anthony has actually commented on like fast food and stuff before. He's the voice. He'd be the right one.
Yeah, there's it's got to be the right athlete, but I think in the right hands, this could be a chef's kiss of a series. Saul, it's been an absolute joy to have you, despite our disagreements on a number of topics today. But, you know, even though we disagree, we don't have to be disagreeable, right? That's what I always learned in elementary school. You got any shitty Yelp reviews for us today?
I don't, not specific. I'm doing a bad job on the shitty Yelp reviews. The answer is always that, yes, there certainly are. I just can't think of them in the moment. I got one for you for bailing on our fucking escape room. Sick escape room last week.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to blame me for bailing on River when I had a very legitimate excuse.
Oh, I mean, that's okay enough. I mean, it's just like that's like an ongoing bit now. Like, basically, we are never going to see Sammy again. Like, I hope he has a good life, but like, which is never happening.
We love you, Sammy.
Also, are we going to talk about Great British Bake Off this season? It's out on Netflix.
Oh, we should. It's back, right?
Yeah. Should we do it? Should we hit up our friends at Compliments? I'll ask Nancy about this tomorrow. See what's up.
I'm almost starting to think like maybe they should get a shitty Yelp review for, I'm guessing, not inviting us back on the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, look, we had our time. It was a great time.
We did.
I mean, after I literally called bullshit on the entire show, I think it's pretty reasonable they don't bring us back for GBBO in particular.
Yeah, I love the show, man. I can't wait. I'm waiting for like a very stressful time so I can like have it to watch when I need to unwind and just feel good about humanity. There's a new show too. I think it's on Netflix, but it's like a thriller, an action thriller, but it has to do with a chef. Did you see this?
Oh yeah, I did see this. Yeah, it's like it's a chef whose brother's like in with the mob or something, right? Should we watch it? We can watch it. Yeah, let's figure it out.
I think we should watch and review that. Maybe we bring back the old TV review.
I would love that.
So you did a great job. Your shitty Yelp review is that you're in New York and not with us here in Los Angeles, but we love you nonetheless, and we'll talk to you next time.
See you later, bud.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the LA Food Podcast. Thanks to our guest, Father Saul, for making the time for us as always. And my God, I hope he's racking up those air miles because he's been away from LA for far too long, and we miss him, dear listener. I know you miss him too. We'll be back next week with another epic episode. But if you're looking for me in the meantime, you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, even our website at the LA Countdown. That's TheLaCountdown. You can also find us on Instagram at It's Acquired Taste or our website, acquiredtastemedia.com. And I forgot to say, we would really, really appreciate it if you left us a rating or review wherever you listen to podcasts. It really, really means the world to us. See you next week.